What's up, y'all? Clever G back with the Clever G lifestyle. Check it out. Get at me. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Okay, I came back. I had given two messages earlier about why you may not have manifested in 2022. Because we're coming to a close. It's only a couple of days left. But I wanted to come back with this video to say, because I told a story in one about why I don't sage. So early on in my spiritual journey, I was trying to figure out how to clear my energy because I'm so receptive to energy. I'm empathic, so I can literally pick up people's ailments, their emotions, feelings, or whatever have you. And so I was like, how do I clean? And every time I would have another spiritual awakening, because you have several, I would get more energy that it was like I couldn't hardly go outside to the point, or if I were going to the grocery store, it would get so chaotic in my energy because I would be picking up their issues going on. I'm passing by this person, I'm picking up their life story. And I just wanted to shop for my things I came to shop for. I didn't come there to hear all that. I don't know about other spiritual people, but with me as a spiritual person, because I can see so much into people's lives, I don't want to do it on a regular. I don't just pry in people's life because I can. I really don't care. That's the honest truth. So I want to have a spiritual video talk. This is not going to be in depth because it might go over some heads because it gets real deep out here in the spiritual game. So, about my spiritual gifts, and we all have spiritual gifts. You could check in the Bible what your spiritual gift may be. Let me pull that up right quick. I can't tell you right offhand right now. Come on. Please stop getting on my nerves thing. And we're in a retrograde, by the way, too. It's a Mercury retrograde that started yesterday. It's in full effect. So don't be signing on dotted lines if you can prevent it at this time. You might get exes who pop back in your life. Things you thought you had put to a close may resurface. You might not have completed stuff. Make sure you set everything you need to at this time. Be careful because Mercury retrograde is like mean to redo. And that's when it appears that it's moving backwards. The planet is. Bear with me. Okay. You can find out about your spiritual gifts in hold on. You know the time I'll come right to it. I think it's in Peter. I think it's 1 Peter 4:11. So, but if not, I'll try to find the right one and put it in the box below. And check out that too. I'll be writing stuff in there. So, early on in my spiritual abilities journey, when I started taking it more serious, because I've had gifts since I was a child. I used to be reading family situations. I used to be reading people. Even if somebody wanted to date like my mom, I could read them like it was nothing. And the things would come to pass. I would have dreams. Even kind of like my life now, I would dream it until it came to pass, pretty much. So I got in trouble a lot growing up for daydreaming. So I guess this is a whole spiritual video. How you may know you have spiritual gifts, some things that might happen. I would daydream all the time in class, so I would get in trouble. Like my grades would be good, but my conduct would be like a C. I used to talk a lot in class. I just had so much to share, I felt like, and I didn't have any siblings growing up. I was the only child for a long time, and I do have siblings now. But I was the only child for a long, long time. Actually, until I got my first sibling when I was 17, to be exact. So pretty much I done went a whole lifetime almost being an only child. So I had myself to play with. I had cousins and stuff I would play with. But my mom always taught me, you can't just go over people's house and stay and don't come home. That's not gonna happen. So I had to get real acquainted with myself. So I used to be real into stuff, even when I would go to Disney World as a child. I was fascinated by like Tinkerbell and all that. And I ain't gonna go in depth with it because when it gets in spirituality, people like to put limits on it. Like even mediumship abilities. It's wrong to call on this, that. It may be. I don't call on anybody, but I naturally have the ability, and I've spoken with people about their loved ones. I have no idea about. They didn't tell me. Spirit just provided the message for it. And so even as a child, if I would go in a certain house, I would feel energy like, no, mom, I want to go here because it's haunted. And she was like, what? Like, no. I would feel presence early. I was into all kind of like mystical stuff, and it's like I ain't had nobody really to talk about it with because I was the only person. Like my mom have abilities too. Like I couldn't get away with anything without her knowing about it. Like literally, she knew everything, and she was like, I got eyes in the back of my head. Y'all know how they be, but she literally did. So, and my daddy has abilities too. So I was bound to have them. But it was so strong. So even growing up, I would tell like friends and stuff about events that may have, or it would be some people. Like for instance, I had a friend that I met one of their new, the new person who was in their life, and the person went to shake my hand. And when I did, I was like, "Ooh, I can't shake your hand." I was like, "Your spirit ain't good," and I literally could not tolerate him. And he ended up being not a good person, so to speak. But so it would be stuff like that, and people would either be fascinated by it or they would be annoyed by it. You think you know everything? I don't think I know everything. This is just what I'm getting, honey. It's just what it is. But when I was younger, I didn't know how to. Like I would just say stuff, like just tell people, and like you have to have spiritual integrity. You can't just tell people. You have to ask them, is it okay to share this with you? Or most time it would be good or whatever, and this would be persons of any age. It didn't matter. So my mom would give a disclaimer like, hey, we go here, you keep your mouth closed. Don't you be saying this. If you see something, hush. So, because I would be getting this stuff, and it's like the daydreaming in class. So you might have daydreams. You envision a whole life story for yourself. And I'm talking about real spiritual abilities. I'm not talking about if you have, I got to call multiple, I forgot the new name, so I'm not going to say it. If you have something that may be going on with me mental health wise, get it checked out. That's what people are in place for. If you have a spiritual ability, know, even if you hear stuff, because you will hear, it may come in however you get your messages. But if something is telling you to hurt yourself, go hurt these people, that's not of God, and that's not a spiritual something. There's something trying to change your life for the worse. Don't fall for that. So when I started realizing God was prompting me to take it more seriously, because I just could. So it was like, okay, I didn't take it serious like that. I would go seek readings from people in the past like that. And I still have something here every now and then just to see, because I can read myself. But sometimes you just want to see an alternate perspective. But somebody put me onto it back then, so I would just look into it. And mostly it was like a relationship. What's going on here? Just when I knew what it was. But you know what? Every time somebody read me, y'all, never failed. Every single time they would say the word psychic. You know you're a psychic? I was like, yeah, no, I got gifts. Again, tell me what this dude. Like, I wasn't worried about that because I knew I had gifts. I consider myself as a seer. So I knew I had gifts, but I knew this. I didn't call you about that. I didn't ask you about that. Or I think it was online. I didn't go online about that. I wanted to ask you what's going on in this situation. Let's see where we at. I'm giving y'all a little background on me. 10 minutes in. We ain't gonna make this too long. So, pardon me. Need some water. So, but every time they will always come up. Do you know you can read people? Yeah, but I'm not calling my dad. Or if I try to get help, they would click off because 9 times out of 10, I can see if they was false prophet, false reader, whatever you call it. They were false. I could pick that up. But it got to the point where I think I remember the date was 11/11. I think 2019. I had like this massive awakening on that day. And that day I was just calling and texting people who were in my life at the time. Hey, even I remember texting a friend, he lived out of state. We don't talk that frequently. We catch up like every few months or every 6 months or so. And I've been knowing them forever, like since high school. So, or we in town, we both back in our hometown, we'll link up, that's my homeboy or whatever. So, I even called him, I was like, hey, you need to check your car fluids, it's low. I don't know about this man car fluids, no idea. And I started telling him some other stuff, he's like, you kind of freaking me out, I don't know if I need to lay down or what. I was like, no, I'm sorry, But I had to tell him, do you know he called me back later that evening like, thank you so much, I appreciate it because I checked my car fluids and it was dangerously low. And we are negative X amount degrees tonight. I was like, oh, that's so cool. I'm like, that's so cool. Even though I had these gifts forever, I'm learning more and more gifts that I have. Like, because as you learn your spiritual abilities and your spiritual gifts, you go like almost to the next. When you prove that I can handle these gifts, I can use them with respect, integrity, then spirit will give you some more. So I was getting more stuff, but meanwhile, I'm thinking it's so cool. People around me getting freaked out about it. They're like, okay, this know too much. And even to like homegirls, I'm like, oh, you might get a phone call today with this, so I'm just giving you. But it let you know, like, hold your heart because it might be a little shocking. Sure enough, that day she called me, thank you because you told me this and prepped me when I got that call. The blow wasn't so hard. I can go on. I have years worth of situations. But I'm trying to give a background so you can see things that I would pick up. So, and see why it led me on to that path. My mom, if she has issues going on, I can feel it. If her left arm hurt, I call my left arm hurt. Yeah, I felt it. I'm having dreams that's coming to pass. Like, my family knows this stuff. But even they be shocked and don't believe me at times. And I've been doing this forever. It's because I actually put a name and title with it and decided to pursue it. That's when it became like, hold on. So I went through the phase of everything being condemned, ostracized, church people talking about it, all that. But I had to tell them at the end of the day, these are my gifts. You don't have what I have. God entrusted me with these spiritual abilities, so I can't expect you to understand or tell me because this is not your spiritual ability. You don't have to deal with these things. You don't have to get headaches because you're getting upgrades. Your appetite might not rapidly change. Did God tell you you got to fast every day? And when I would pray for people, when I do, I seriously fast a few days so I can hear clear and have directions on what to tell people. So I'm more in my spiritual journey, but the energy is getting so much that I'm becoming reclusive. I can't go out. The energy is too much. So And if you having this as a spiritual person, you're a sensitive energy, you go to the stores, put earphones in, at least in one ear, because you always need to be aware of your surroundings too. Or if you got them on, get them on a level where you can hear what's going around. Never tune out so much. You don't know. Look what day we in. Don't do that. Listen. So I would do that, and that helps prevent a barrier. I could tell friends about their coworkers what's gonna happen, and what happened. Like the next day, they would call me back. Girl, it happened exactly how it did. I can uncover things in people's families that may have hindered them from years that they had no idea about, that help unpack. So it was getting real deep. So this is why I'm ending up in this place talking about how to do X, Y. And I've had several life experiences that I'll eventually get around to when I have connections more. But I'm thankful even if one person watch, I appreciate you. So Sage enters the building. And you know, it was a big upswing in spirituality and media. Everybody doing everything on the sun, but they tell you like Sage will clean your space. But most people won't tell you it opens up portals also. And you think you know what portal you opening up, but you're not even on that side to know what portal is being opened. So in that video, I told about a situation where Sage opened up a demonic portal. I was staying in these apartments, and these apartments had been around a long, long, long time. Like forever. Probably, I don't know if that, a long time, let's just say over 20 years. So I had lived in one other apartment in that building, then I changed and moved downstairs. So it was cool. Never had any issues in it. No, and I always pray before I select where to stay. God tell me, I always tell him, God, please align me with the perfect place, in the perfect space, with the perfect price, and the perfect neighbors. Because where you stay, who you stay around, and it can alter everything. You can have a place of your dream, but your neighbor making a living hell. So pray about this stuff. And Sage opened up a whole stuff that made me have to go and get out of there, is what I'm saying. So I was Sage, and I had somebody staying with me at the time. And when I was Sage, their area, it was like going to a whole damn flame. Like it would be, let me like this since I'm talking about spiritual stuff. I'm surprised I'm even talking about this stuff, but I'm going to share it because somebody might be new on their spiritual journey and they don't know how to operate their gifts. Like, it don't come with instruction manuals, so to speak. The Bible is instruction shares, but spiritual gifts is a whole different arena. And if you haven't experienced and seeing stuff, feeling stuff that's not on this plane, well then, that's not what I'm referring to. This is straight up spiritual abilities. 101. So I opened up Sage, and I was Sage, and this is Palo Santo, which means holy wood. Or I use frankincense, like incense and stuff. I need to put on another one. And there's some little lemongrass spray from Bed Bath & Beyond. It smells good, but it's it disappears like that. My incense, so I ain't gonna worry about it. So with the Sage, things started happening. I was dealing with somebody at that time, dating, and that was chaotic. But then that moved on out of the way, and I noticed I kept feeling something in my kitchen door. So how it was made, it was like the kitchen right here, and you walk through the kitchen, and this is the living room. It's a hall that go back to the bathrooms, bedrooms, and I could feel like something watching me. As I told you, as a child, I was able to pick up on sensitive things, homes that were haunted. Always funeral homes. I still don't like funeral homes to this day. And I'm very spiritually inclined. Like I have a comfortability with getting messages or seeing stuff like apparitions or whatever. That don't bother me because I'm like, get out of here, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus or whatever, and it flees. However, you have to set spiritual boundaries just like you do in real life. But I lost my train of thought. But it was a presence looking at me. I could feel it watching like a hawk. And it made me feel uneasy. And I was like, Lord, what is this presence? And I couldn't see an apparition, but I could see, in my mind's eye, I could see what he looked like. It was a white male, older, and he had like red hair and stuff. Red beard, dressed kind of like, I don't want to say hee-haw, but cowboyish or something. And he was just like, it was like he was almost, like he had smoke coming, like he couldn't stand me there. And I felt like he was racist. So I was like, this ain't cool. At that time, I had went to the gun range with some people. In the gun range, I'm shooting my gun, and because if you have a weapon, you need to know how to use and practice it. Don't be out here not knowing what you're doing. So it was a flashback on the gun, and I have, like, let me see. It's on my finger. Maybe it's here. Okay, here it is, right here. You can see that cut. The gun went back and gave me a flash when I'm pouring blood. I'm like, what the hell? So the people rushed there to help me clean up. I go to the urgent care not far. And I think that was on like a St. Patrick's Day, for one. So I wound up at the ER for a gun flashback wound. And it did it, but I ain't jump because I ain't finna jump and shoot everywhere. And no, it just had to deal with this. And I laid it down, disarm my weapon, whatever. So I'm like, all this chaotic stuff is happening. I'm noticing it's drawing more kind of people into my work. And I attract all kind of people anywhere. I don't care what store I go to. I can run into somebody who'll be like, you have good energy, or do you know you have spiritual gifts? Or one young lady, she was like, you make my inner child so I just want to go home, lay down and curl up and go to sleep. And this never happened before. And that was wild. And a story attached to that was even wilder. Like, somebody I had watched on the internet, she had informed me about something that happened with them in life. So it's like all these spiritual things would be happening constantly. And that happened, so I was like, this don't. And I was like, God, should I be using this? Because I pray about everything. I ask God, I rather ask him a million times, are you sure this okay? Than to be not doing his will and be for undercover because I'm doing what I want to do. So the neighbor I had at the time, it was two neighbors. One, we were all talking because it was pretty cool. We would talk, me and my neighbors. And one was talking about sage. And when she walked off, she had to leave. The other one's like, hey, you don't use that sage because X, Y, Z. And I was like, okay, I'm receptive to people telling me stuff. I don't be like, well, don't tell me how to do. You never know. God could be sending a message to them. And sure enough, I looked into it and realized it was opening up portals and all this and that. And so I was like, I got to get this out of here. Like, what did I do? I threw it away. And then I also had led other people to try it. So I had contacted everybody I told about sage, cleansed their home, told them the side effects, and I apologized for it because I felt like if something happened to them, it's on me because I brought this to them. So most of them threw it away. People did what they want to, but people still use this. Up to them. I don't tell people you shouldn't do this for your life. You got to talk to God. He gonna tell you what to do. I promise you, he will, if you allow him. So it's getting dark. Let me hurry up. Where we at? They've been shooting like crazy. Retrograde going off. Okay, 24 minutes and 7 seconds. So I'm going to try to round this off. I hope somebody interested in it. I might take it down. I don't know. But, so, it was like so many events. Even to the point where it opened up where it was a guy stayed, like he was like the maintenance man who stayed on another part by the houses. And he all of a sudden started getting rowdy with me, which is why I got me pop out in the first place, him. And then I was having a stalking situation going on. And it's me for me, honey. I'm gonna take care of myself. I ain't finna be fearful when I got God. But I also had to protect myself too. So this man, he was getting disgruntled. I don't know, because he couldn't get his habits met. Because he was on a few things like he was down bad. And for his age range, it's like he was unhappy with his circumstances. So he became aggressive to the point he started yelling out threats to me. So I don't know if that energy that was in that kitchen like jumped over there to him and made him start acting like that. His dog was coming by my door out of all of a sudden, and like I'm reaching out to the landlord like, hey, this man, his dog, I'm being threatened. I reported to the apartment management company, because I'm like, I'm gonna make them aware in case I have to take care of myself. Somebody knows. I made my neighbors aware, and I think he turned racist too. He was not like that, and that man had been staying back there a while, like over a year or so. I had been in them apartments like 5 years in total. It just started getting so weird to the point where I was like, okay, she convicted me on it. Then I asked God to lead me to it, and I was led to what I need, so I let it go. But I was like, I still need something spiritual, so he let me. I make my own spray. I might sell it one day, but it's made with, it smells good. But like a bunch of frankincense products. But it really opened up portals that, and it's like I couldn't get that portal back. I prayed and the presence finally left. I anointed everything with oil because I keep holy oil. I pray over it. I anointed everything. I asked God to help me. I repented, like show me the right direction for my life. What your life is, you got to ask him. But after I let it go, I anointed everything and then I rebuked it in the name of Jesus. The presence left. But the tension was still around at that time. So what I did is I was allowed to, I had been through so much stuff, y'all. And I was determined to get back to myself. Find out what I liked and what I wanted and how I wanted to be and how I wanted my life to go, how I saw myself being. Because I wasn't living the life that I truly wanted to live. I was just getting by, trying to, I had my corporate job. It was straight. I was blessed to be able to work at home the last couple years of it. So it had perks, but it was still uncomfortableness even there. Friendships started dismantling, so it brought out a lot of stuff. And then with spiritual gifts, my gifts just increase and they increase. So you might experience the normal things like headaches when it's energy shifts. You might have a cycle that aligns with the moon now. And that's just, it happens like that, y'all. I know it might not be a guide to it and people might say, oh, don't do this. But I had to really pray because I came from an extra churchy background. But even back then, I would say how I felt. I had stood up in church before to crusade against something. Crusade with the old folks, y'all. I've been radical a long time. But what else some spiritual gifts I can talk about? You may feel like lightheaded at times. That's an energy shift. In how people, ancestors. It brought out trickster ancestors. Sage can bring out trickster ancestors. These are people who mimic your loved ones, your mama, your papa, your auntie, your sister, whoever. You think it's them, but it's a whole trickster energy getting you to do stuff that you're not supposed to. Causing chaos because your ancestor did not have the life that they dreamt of, but guess what? You are living it, and they don't like you for it. If they ain't like you in this life, what the hell make you think they changed over there? Like, energies don't be switching like that, y'all. I'm telling you, this ain't from what somebody told me. These are personal experiences. Helping people cross over. People really do get lost when they die in certain manners. Not realizing that if you check the SUI way out, you got to come back and do that lesson again, more than likely. Like, or the fact that it's people in mental health facilities who have spiritual abilities they didn't know how to comprehend. So it landed them there. Not knowing how to not let energy make you to that place. Standing your ground in your own energy and not letting different energies interfere. But especially if you're a child of God and you trust Jesus and you believe in Jesus, they always after you. I don't know how many times I tell, like, people have, like, and this is, if you do this, this is your business. People do deity worship. Like, that's who they help get them their stuff, so you owe them or whatever. But not only that, sorry about that, I got distracted by my email. What I was saying, with deities, they approach me for my energy. Some of the favorites people go to. And every time I've said, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus, they fled just like that. Even I spoke about dark angels, same thing. So you don't have to believe in Jesus. You don't have to. But I'm telling you, without a shadow of a doubt, every time a demonic presence have come near me, I rebuked and it fled because it couldn't hold up to that power. This ain't no place to sway you, but I know with spirit in them, I've manifested and I haven't had to do anything for it. I simply believe, wrote it down. Even this channel, I didn't think it was ever going to be a channel. I never wanted to be in front of the camera. Even I have a degree for film, TV, and radio. But I wanted to be in the production side. But I was prompted to step on this side because I had to step in my purpose. People will try to, and even if you have kids with abilities, they may be, don't let them, they tell you they talking to somebody, your child say, oh, it's somebody out there. Don't you say, tell them come in. That's inviting a spirit in your house. Teach your child, tell them, well, they have to go home now. Seriously. The spiritual world is more dense than you think it is. It's out here heavy. People practice a lot of stuff. Whether you believe it or not. You ain't got to believe it for it to hit you and hit your life. And it might come in ways where you losing finance regularly. Your friendships or your relationships or your life are dismantling. You're getting sick because you owe these things and people. That's your business, but I'm just giving enlightenment on my spiritual things and what can happen. So what I do is I use my spray, my Frank and Myrrh spray, my Palo sometimes, and I usually try to burn frankincense, incense every day. Like stuff like that is actually in the Bible. And people talk about Christians who in the Bible. I don't believe that holding this crystal is going to be life-changing for me. But I understand for me, I need something at times to filter my energy. Because sometimes my dream gets to the point where I can't get rest. So if I had to put one under my pillow to get rest, that's what I'm going to do. But I don't believe that it's going to alter anything for me. And people are always talking about those are wrong. In Isaiah 54, no weapons formed against me shall prosper. In Isaiah 54 chapter, check out 53 and 2. Somebody I asked for that yesterday. Spirit gave me that. He said his foundations was made from lapis lazuli, which is this stone right here. So, again, and they come in different cuts, but it's found there, whether you want it to be or not. And if that's a problem, we can talk about witchcraft in the pulpit because it's very, very present. God told me No matter who it is, it has to be said. I already been ostracized in real life, so that's part of it too, y'all. You might be losing people around you. You don't understand them anymore. They don't understand you anymore. Y'all speaking different lingos. They can't comprehend your jargon now. You don't know how to translate it for them to comprehend. Maybe it's not meant. If you're on a spiritual awakening, it's going to be very uncomfortable. Every time you have an awakening, you're going to go through monumental changes more than likely. Not always. You might have little ones, but they help you to get to the next level. And they help you see, God, like, if you could use these gifts, maybe I can trust you with more. So if y'all have some spirituality questions, maybe get at me and make an answer some. Or you can check out my website, the www.cleverglifestyle.com. No, www.thecleverglifestyle.com. And I also have a service where I can help people assist on their spiritual journeys. If you have questions, you have nobody to ask, or you feel confused about it, we can get to the bottom of it. We're at 36 minutes, so I'm going to let y'all go. I hope y'all have a good one. I'm going to come back with some New Year messages. I don't know if I'm going to do it tonight, or I might do it tomorrow, so I can dress up for the new year. I've been getting stuff on and I've been writing down spirit. I'm in the middle of cleaning. I got to stop and write it down. All the messages that I'm getting. So I hope it helps somebody. I hope y'all have a fantastic last couple of days of this year. I hope you have a beautiful new year. Don't forget, we are in a Mercury retrograde. Be careful signing the dotted line on stuff. Get into cars because you may get a lemon. Relationships, exes. It'll be just a test run a lot of times during retrograde. And retrogrades last from 4 to 6 weeks. Look it up, Google Mercury retrograde. It's even on NASA's website. Check that out. Anyway, y'all, peace. It's Clever G. Take care.